Some storms in our lives, they are not attacks on you. They are actually God coming in to intervene. But the Lord sent out a great wind on the sea, and there was a mighty tempest on the sea, so that the ship was about to be broken up. Jonah 1 and 4. We are on part 2. You cannot escape God. So here we see number 1 is that it is God who initiates this storm. He is interrupting Jonah's escape route. But Jonah had gone down into the lowest parts of the ship, had lain down, and was fast asleep. Here, Jonah is not just physically asleep, he is spiritually asleep. Jonah doesn't know what's going on at this point, but it is God who is interrupting his escape route. So at this time, the other sailors are panicking because they know this is no ordinary storm. So now we have a pagan captain who used by God to confront Jonah's disobedience. And the captain says to Jonah, "What do you mean, sleeper?" He's like, "Hey, dude, wake up. Why are you still asleep? Arise. Call on your God. Perhaps your God will consider us so that we may not perish." Jonah 1 and 6. And here we see that even God is using an unbeliever to confront Jonah's disobedience. And at this point, the storms are raging, but guess what? Jonah's not praying. Jonah has no conviction. He's disconnected emotionally. He's avoiding God, and he's ignoring all of the warning signs. In verse 7, it shows that the sailors were very persistent on trying to figure out who is causing the trouble on the ship. So they decide to cast lots, and those lots fell on Jonah. In Proverbs 16 and 33, the lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. And God used the lot to expose Jonah's disobedience. And God used the lot to expose Jonah on the ship. And so what do we see next? The sailors, they moved right into identity. Dude, who are you? Where are you from? What is your job? What have you done? And so this makes us think and question ourselves. Are we ever running from anything? So those questions were not random. Purpose cannot function without identity. So it starts with your identity, knowing who you are, whose you are, and God is always going to bring you back to identity before he brings you back into what you're called to do. So this is God stepping in and intervening and stopping Jonah from destroying the assignment God has for him. And sometimes the storms in our lives can be from God. It is for our protection. He's using it to redirect us to go into the direction in which he has called us to do. And many of us, we may find ourselves going in the opposite direction of our calling. And doing so does have consequences. And here we also see that our decisions are affecting other people. Our disobedience could be endangering the lives of innocent people. We've seen many times in the Bible how disobedience spills over into the lives of others. Even in Joshua 7 and 1 through 5, it says Israel loses a battle because one man disobeyed God by taking forbidden items. One person's hidden sin caused an entire nation to suffer. Romans 5:12 even tells us that through one man's sin, death entered the world. Adam's disobedience affected all of humanity. So one of the main points here is to recognize that your decisions are not just impacting yourself. Your disobedience can impact your family members, those people around you, cities, countries, nations. And here we see where Jonah is being confronted to admit he is the problem. And then so we have to ask ourselves, what is in our heart? What is in your heart? Because with Jonah, running exposes his prejudice, it exposes his fear and his pride. And as we mentioned, some storms in our lives, they are not attacks on you. They are actually God coming in to intervene. He is redirecting you, and consider these storms as blessings in disguise. When God sends those storms, the storms of life, it's for your alignment. But when you run from God, when we're disobedient, what actually does that look like? Well, number one, it's spiritual numbness. It looks like avoidance, denial, emotional shutdown, and basically disconnection from your purpose. And in the Hebrew text, it emphasizes a great deal on Jonah going down to Joppa, down into the ship, down into sleep, down into the sea, down into the fish. This is literally symbolism for spiritual decline. And ironically, it's the unsaved, the pagans, who pray. They're seeking God. They're seeking truth. And they show humility. Jonah, the prophet, does none of this. This shows us that you can be saved, you can be anointed, you can even be a prophet and still be out of alignment. Calm, settled, unbothered, and still out of position. So if life is feeling stormy for you right now, if it just feels like you can't catch a break, you're getting one bad news after the other, you're dealing with a lot of hurt, pain, anger, whatever type of suffering that you may be experiencing at this time, we can look at it as God redirecting you, sending you into your assignment, into your purpose. He uses these storms of life to pull us back into alignment. God could simply be interrupting your escape route because you are the purposeful woman.